Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Greg Moore. I'm the Vice President of Fitness for Workout Anytime Franchising. I'm glad you're joining me today. This is a long webinar because it's a repeat of the Sprint 8 workshop, which goes over everything from how to coach Sprint 8 to how to implement in your club. And I got so many requests for it that I'm actually recording it and putting up there so people can listen to it at their own convenience and see all the slides. And if you're finding this, you probably link to it through Fran Connect. At any rate, we're gonna dive right in. So Sprint 8 workshop, and what you see depicted is the Sprint 8 protocol. And we're going to get into that even more as we move forward, but I'm going to progress through the slides at this point. So what is Sprint 8? Sprint 8 is a scientifically proven form of HIIT training. So it takes just 20 minutes, and you only have to do it about 3 times a week, and it can be done by just about anyone at any fitness level. Best of all, when they did a study on Sprint 8, I'm going to talk more about that, the people in the study lost an average of 27% of their body fat in 8 weeks, and they did a total of 8 hours of exercise in those 8 weeks. So that's just an hour of total exercise time per week. Now, you're going to get access to these slides. They're already up on Fran Connect, so you can watch the Sprint 8 video and see what it's all about if you haven't done so already. There's also a Sprint 8 website, sprint8.com, to learn more about it. So what are the proven benefits of doing Sprint 8? Well, we talked about the first one already, but it's worth repeating. In a hospital-funded study on Sprint 8, participants showed a 27.4% drop in body fat. That's on average, doing just 3 20-minute Sprint 8 workouts per week with no changes in diet. Pretty big deal, guys. In that same study, the participants' growth hormone levels increased 603% within a half hour of that first workout, so over 6 times. And over the long haul, because they tested it each workout, or even at the end of the study, they were still getting a 426% increase in growth hormone. Huge deal. Growth hormone is rejuvenative, and what it does is, in an adult, obviously you're not going to grow any longer. It helps the quality of your skin, helps repair muscle, build and retain muscle, burns fat. So it's a very powerful hormone, and it's something that's going to drop with age. So this is very significant. People are paying thousands and thousands of dollars a month for injectable growth hormone, which causes all sorts of problems. So we really want to be talking about these benefits because it's quite significant. It's probably one of the reasons that you saw that large fat increase as well. At the same time, their total cholesterol and the LDL, the bad cholesterol, drops significantly in these people, along with their triglycerides dropping, which is another good thing, and their HDL cholesterol increased significantly. So really big benefits, not just on the fitness appearance side, but also on the health side. And for more information, to see all about this study, if you click on there when you get these slides, and you'll see the full white paper, which will give you all the details of that study. So what is HIIT? I keep referencing HIIT. HIIT is high intensity interval training. What's that? It involves short bouts of high intensity anaerobic exercise, such as sprinting all out for 30 seconds. And that's followed by a recovery period. And this cycle of work and rest is repeated several times in succession. So obviously, although the sprint itself is clearly an anaerobic event, during the rest interval, the recovery interval, everything's going to change. During recovery, your body is going to use your cardiovascular system to help remove the lactic acid that's going to build up. That always happens when we do anaerobic, high-intensity work. And it's going to help repay what we call the oxygen deficit that is created during that high-intensity anaerobic interval. And we're going to talk more about what does that mean. So when you're done an interval or done an interval training workout, a HIIT workout, if you've done it properly, you have a big increase in what's called EPOC. EPOC is an acronym. EPOC stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. And this refers to the fact that during recovery, you need more oxygen to recover from the sprint than your body would have used if it could have delivered enough oxygen to the muscles to obtain the required energy aerobically. So when you do a sprint, you need so much energy so fast, you can't supply enough oxygen to stay aerobic, so you have to be anaerobic. You create a deficit of oxygen, which you have to repay. Now, one thing you want to remember here Oxygen consumption is calorie consumption, quite literally. When we consume oxygen, we burn calories. In fact, that's how we measure caloric expenditure in a laboratory setting. So, the higher your oxygen consumption, the more calories you're burning. So that means that HIIT results in a higher overall calorie burn, or what we call a net calorie burn. Remember, net meaning total, or net calorie burn is what you burn during the exercise session, and this is significant, what you burn from the epoch after exercise. So the total is what counts in terms of results, right? So another term for epoch is afterburn. In fact, it's an easier term for to remember and people to relate to. And this slide really is fantastic in showing and depicting exactly what happens in a HIIT training session versus a steady state exercise session. I think it's worth emphasizing this. Steady state exercise is not bad for you. Going for a walk is not bad. Coming into one of our clubs and plugging away steadily for 20 minutes is absolutely good for your health. No question. So let's not start telling people that steady state exercise is bad. It is not bad. It's excellent for health. It's excellent for recovery. But in terms of maximizing calorie burn and fat burning, it clearly is not the best solution. And that's our client's goal, so we got to match the programming to the client goal. So if you look at here and you see metabolic rate is the same thing as oxygen consumption, is the same thing as calorie burn. 3 different words for really exactly the same thing. So if we look in gray, we see a steady workout. And you see that the metabolic rate, which is the same as calorie burn, drops down pretty quickly after we're done with that workout, right? But if we look at the workout in red, which is a HIIT workout, each successive HIIT interval where I'm training really hard, I'm sprinting, takes that metabolic rate higher and higher. And most importantly, notice that it is elevated for a long time afterwards. That's the epoch. That's the afterburn, which is so significant. So this is a great tool to show and explain to clients how HIIT works. So epoch, what we'd rather call afterburn from now on, significantly elevates your metabolic rate and calorie burn, same thing, for up to 36 hours after a HIIT workout. That's a big deal. So the other thing that's important to communicate to people is the less fit the participant doing the HIIT workout, the higher that afterburn is going to be. Because as we get fitter, we're going to return to baseline faster. We're going to recover faster. For other people, it's going to stay elevated longer. So this is great to communicate people because they're actually going to get more bang for the buck when they're a beginner than when they are a more experienced exerciser. So another term I want to go over because you're going to hear it is metabolic conditioning. And this was coined by a number of people. One of the biggest people was Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit. And it's become a very popular term. So let's talk about what does metabolic conditioning mean. It's also called Metcon for short, and it involves intervals as well. But there's intervals of cardio, strength, and power movements, right? So it's a little bit different than Sprint 8. And I want you to understand those differences. It still has intervals, but we're interspersing different types of exercise movements rather than just high intensity sprint. We've got strength movements, we've got power movements included. MX4 is really Workout Anytime's group metabolic conditioning program, right? So it's a little bit different than Sprint 8 because we have elements of strength, endurance, power, etc. We're not just doing sprints. They're both good, but we want to understand both of them. So Metcon also results in significant calorie burn during and after exercise. It promotes muscle mass and increases metabolic rate for up to 36 hours. So they're both a form of HIIT training. And if you combine them, you're probably going to get the best of all worlds. So this is meant to look at, make sure we really understand the difference between that high intensity interval training and steady state training where we're kind of plugging along at a steady pace. Again, steady state exercise is certainly not bad for you. And it's excellent if you're overtrained to actually allow you to exercise but get some recovery during that process. So during HIIT training, we're going to improve our anaerobic and our aerobic fitness and capacity. Okay, if we do steady state training, that's steady run, jog, walk, whatever we're doing, we're going to get better, but we're going to only get better on the aerobic side, right? There's no change in anaerobic fitness. Okay, HIIT training is going to require 15 to 30 minute sessions, including warm up and cool down, and 3 times a week is plenty of frequency to produce significant results. If we want to get results from steady state exercise, we're going to have to exercise much longer than 15 minutes, 30, 40, even an hour maybe, and we're going to have to do it more frequently, or we're really not going to get results from it. So there's a higher net calorie usage from HIIT training compared to steady state training, right? There's a lower overall net calorie usage compared to HIIT training when we do that steady state training as our sole way of training. So exercise at a high intensity, if we're doing HIIT training, we start with a high intensity and we progress duration. So if you have a beginner and they can't do 8 intervals in Sprint 8, we can start them at 2, 3, or 4 and add intervals till they get there. Now, if we use the traditional steady state training model, again, there's nothing wrong with that. What we're going to tend to do is we're going to start at a low intensity and a longer duration. So we're going to go for 20, 30 minutes right out of the gate, and then we're going to gradually increase intensity. And this is appropriate for certain populations like cardiac rehab, etc., right? People who have injuries may need to exercise this way. But if assuming there's not contraindications, that HIIT workout's going to produce results faster. Right? So it's kind of a reverse periodization model when we do HIIT training, and the steady state training is what we call a traditional periodization model, where we progress intensity over time compared to HIIT training where we add more intervals. Significant increase in growth hormone and testosterone during HIIT training without significant increases in cortisol if we keep the workout short. Okay, that's important. And cortisol is a stress hormone. It's not bad. But if we get overstressed in any or all aspects of our life, including working out, we have a lot of cortisol. And cortisol increases fat storage. It makes us feel like crap, interrupts our sleep, things like that. We need it, but we don't want it elevated. As we get older, growth hormone tends to drop. Testosterone tends to drop. Both of those things are negative. They produce negative changes in mood. Sex drive goes down. We don't retain muscle. Our skin quality, hair quality goes down. Lots of bad stuff. So we really want to maintain and increase growth hormone and testosterone without spiking cortisol, ideally. So during steady state training, that steady workout, we're not going to increase growth hormone. We're not going to increase testosterone. If we do too much of it, they're going to go down. And if we don't watch how often we do this, we're actually going to get pretty significant increases in cortisol. So it's something for you to understand. Now let's relate all of this to our clients, because that's why we all have a job, so to speak. So what is our client's primary goal from exercise? And I think this sums it up. If you ask, why are you here? They're going to say something like, I want to lose weight and tone up. Now, we know what that means in our world as exercise professionals is that they want to lose body fat and maintain or slightly increase muscle mass. Traditional programs are really ineffective at producing fat loss while maintaining muscle. So what we've traditionally been doing is just not the right programming for our client base. Here's an example study. The addition of 45 minutes of aerobic exercise at 78% of maximum heart rate 5 days per week for 12 weeks had no effect over dieting alone. No effect. Wow. That's depressing. Right? Well, it's not the only study of that type, unfortunately. A meta-analysis from the International Journal of Obesity-Related Metabolic Disorders. They looked at the past 25 years of research, of weight loss research, looking at studies looking at diet, exercise, or diet plus exercise interventions. Analyzed, they looked at over 400 studies comparing diet and plus aerobic exercise, and aerobic exercise by itself, and concluded that aerobic exercise, this is amazing, does not provide a significant advantage over diet. Wow. Think about that for a second. In another study, with one group using diet only and one group using diet plus 50 minutes. That's a lot of time. 50 minutes of aerobic exercise done 5 days per week. There was no additional loss of fat in the diet plus aerobic exercise group. Guys, wow. We can't just do this typical aerobic exercise thing. Our clients are going to give up before they get anywhere. Is there a better way? There is a better way. Another study, 2 groups trained 3 times per week for 6 weeks. One group did interval training. And what did they do? They did 4 to 6 30-second sprints with 4 minutes off between each effort, right? Lots of recovery time, so they could really sprint each time. The other group did steady state aerobic training, 65% of VO2 max for 30 to 60 minutes. That's in the quote fat burning zone, right, that you hear, which is, by the way, complete hooey. Fat loss was 114% more with interval training than steady state training. 114% more. Big deal, guys. There is a better way. Resistance training for fat loss. Does resistance training help with fat loss? Well, yes, it does. In this study, overweight subjects were assigned to 3 groups: diet only, diet plus aerobics, and diet plus aerobics plus weight, so all 3. The diet-only group lost 14.6 pounds of fat in 12 weeks, right? Just from diet. The aerobic group only lost 1 additional pound, and they trained 3 times a week, starting at 30 minutes, and were up to 50 by the end of the study for 12 weeks, right? And they only got 1 extra pound from all that effort. Now, the weight training group, right? They lost 21.1 pounds of fat. Right? Big deal. That is a significant increase. Another one. In this study, there were 3 groups: diet only, diet plus aerobics, diet plus resistance training. All 3 groups lost a similar amount of weight in the study. However, of the 3 groups, only the resistance training group maintained their lean body mass and resting energy expenditure. Those things go hand in hand. When our lean mass goes down, when we lose muscle, our resting rate goes down. Bad news, because we have lowered our daily total caloric expenditure, because most of the calories for most of us that are burned at rest. So our resting metabolic rate is kind of our idle speed. It is very significant to lose weight, and most importantly, to keep it off. We do not want to lose lean. Another study. Effects of resistance versus aerobic training combined with an 800-calorie liquid diet. And what did this do to lean body mass and resting metabolic rate? Got to say something here, guys. Never put anyone on that lower calorie diet. There is no circumstances where a female should be below 1,250 calories a day unless they're under medical supervision. And there's really no circumstance where a male, unless he's very small, should be under 1,500. It's just not going to help. It's going to slow their metabolic rate. So I have to say that. But let's take a look at what happened in the study. The aerobic group, they trained 4 hours per week. So that's a significant training stimulus, right? The resistance training group, right? They did 2 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 reps of 10 exercises 3 times a week. VO2 max in both groups, the aerobic and the resistance training group, increased equally in both groups. The aerobic group lost 27 pounds of fat and 10 pounds of muscle. 10 pounds of muscle. Very negative. This, of course, reduced their metabolic rate by 210 calories per day. That's a big freaking deal. That means that they can eat less than they could before the study started because their idle speed slowed down. So they're kind of taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It is not what we want at all, right? Now, the resistance training group, they lost 32 pounds of fat, more fat, and they lost no muscle, and they increased their metabolic rate by 65 calories a day. Wow. What does this say? We have got to include resistance training in any kind of a weight loss program to get fat loss and maintain lean body mass. So how does this all work together? If we start taking a look at Sprint 8, and let's say you're a club that has Sprint 8 and MX4, we should be giving guidelines like these. We should be saying to clients, depending on their goals, time budget, etc., you should be doing 1 to 3 Sprint 8 workouts a week. Anywhere from 1 up to a maximum of 3 Sprint 8 workouts a week. Ideally, we want them doing at least 1, but up to 2 strength training workouts, right? And strength training is different, right? This is an ideal program. Strength training is strength training. It's not metabolic conditioning. It's not HIIT. It's lifting weights, getting to fatigue. There's a lot of different ways to lift weights, and we're not going to be talking about that today, but I think you all know what I'm talking about. And then what should they be doing? 1 to 2 MX4 workouts per week, right? So we should be using these guidelines on a sliding scale and creating programming so that there's a consistency to what clients are hearing from the entire staff relative to exercise. And you need to understand this and be able to communicate it to our base of members so that they start getting results in our clubs, because we are about results, and results is what keep people from quitting the club and staying an active member and referring other people. So what are the advantages of Sprint 8? It's time efficient, right? 20 minutes 3 times a week to reduce body fat by up to 30% in 8 weeks or less. Big deal. It's simple and easy to learn. There is a coach's training course online. A lot of that content is similar to this. You can find links to that on FranConnect. You can email me at greg.maurer@workoutanytime.com anytime, and I will send you information on to go listen to that course so you can become a good coach. It can be done using any piece of cardio equipment, from a rower to a bike to recumbent bike to elliptical to treadmill, or even body weight exercises like marching or running in place. Sprint 8 is appropriate for just about anyone, from brand new beginner to elite athlete and everyone in between. This is the Sprint 8 protocol. Very simple, right? It could be a 3 or even a 5-minute warm-up. Longer warm-ups make it feel more comfortable. And then they're going to do a 30-second sprint. They're going to do 90 seconds of active recovery, and they're going to repeat that 8 times, and they're going to cool down. Simple, guys, simple. By the way, this protocol is built into all new generation matrix for brand new clubs. I think starting in mid-2017, any new club's going to have this protocol built into the console, so people can do it, and it'll guide, the machine will guide them through the protocol. But it's very easy to do even if you don't have that built into your machines. So what do we do about the warm-up? We want clients, first of all, we want to be talking to clients. They need to bring water with them, a little bit of water. They're not going to gulp water, but they need to bring it with them because they don't have time between to go get water in a water bottle. They need to eat a balanced meal 2 hours before the workout. Make sure that they're hydrated, right? You want people to start the warm-up at about 60% of their perceived maximum effort, right? 6 out of 10 scale, which means they can still talk, but it's somewhat difficult, right? By the end of that warm-up, we want them at 8 out of 10, meaning it's starting to get hard to talk, right? We want them ready for that first interval because we're going to go at 100%. The sprints. Set up the timer for 8 30-second sprints, followed by 90 seconds of active recovery. If you don't know the timer that we use is called the Gym Next, G-Y-M, Next Flex Timer. There is an app for it, and I recommend, if you don't have it, that you buy the timer, the wall timer. It's about $300. You can contact Seth from Matrix. He can get you one. It is well worth the investment. Coach clients to learn to give a true maximum effort during the sprint. Maximum is different. This is very important, very, very, very important for different clients at different fitness levels. For some, maximum can be a quick walk. That's it. We don't want to over push people. If we turn them off, they're going to leave. It is okay if it takes 4, 6, 8, 10 sessions before the client is really hitting their maximum, and they may never hit it. That doesn't mean they're not getting benefits from doing some intervals. Coach clients to understand that being out of breath, sweating, and feeling muscle burn are normal and indicate appropriate exercise intensity, right? They don't understand that. We got to teach them that it's okay to feel that way. How do we change intensity? We incline or decline or speed adjust on treadmills, while on other pieces of cardio, we're going to adjust resistance and cadence on bikes, ellipticals, and rowers, and that's how we're going to change intensity up or down. For unfit beginners, you can start with less than 8 intervals. You can do 2, 4, 6. 4 is a good number. You could do 1 interval, and instead of going 90, you could go 30-second interval, let them recover for the 90, let them skip the next interval of 30, go another 90, and then do another one, right? You have to use your judgment here, people. Coaches need to ensure that all participants sign waivers and complete a PAR-Q. That is a physical activity readiness questionnaire. They are located in FranConnect in the PT folder if you don't know what I'm talking about. We're going to have people exercising hard. We want to know that they're not going to drop dead in the middle of it. If you're in doubt, you should refer them to a physician. Active recovery intervals. After we do a sprint, it's really important to not stop moving during the recovery, and this is because the blood will pool in the extremities if we do that, and that can cause dizziness and faintness. Keep those legs moving. Low intensity movement for 90 seconds following each work interval. That's what the active recovery is. We want to recover fully. If a client recovers too much, though, if they're totally recovered, they're talking, and they don't feel like they're doing anything, and they're halfway through the workout, what does that tell you? They're not going hard enough during the sprints. Okay, 100% is 100%. If they can give it, we need them to give it, right? It's not, you don't hold back. And if you're not holding back, believe me, 8 is plenty. You want them to sip water, not gulp it during active recovery. They do not need Gatorade or anything like that. This whole workout is 20 minutes. Cool down. You're going to maintain active recovery, keep them moving, and keep moving at a low intensity, gradually lower heart rate, blood pressure, all that good stuff. They should be comfortable talking by the time cool down is complete. That is your signal that they're ready to go. Post-workout recovery. The 2-hour post-workout time period is when the body will most rapidly absorb nutrients for recovery and tissue repair. We want to take advantage of that, right? So we want clients to consume 20 to 25 grams of protein. That could be lean meat, nuts, cottage cheese, along with some form of carbohydrate, right? Could be fruit juice, whatever you want to do, right? And a great way to do this is just have a recovery shake. There are many good shakes available, ready to drink. They can mix their own, whatever you really like, right? Should be some carb and protein in there. Advanced Sprint 8 workout options. Once you've got the hang of it, and more importantly, your client base has got the hang of it, we can change things. But initially, we want to, when teaching members, the easiest way to teach is to keep each person on one single piece of equipment or exercise for all 8 intervals, right? They got to get comfortable with this. So don't start changing and moving them around until people are very comfortable. Once they're comfortable, you can start to introduce some variation. You could switch them from a bike to the S drive. You could switch them from the S drive to doing battle ropes, right? We could move them around. We could keep them on one piece. If they're very advanced, we can switch each piece of cardio. So I'll give you an example of a great interval set. You do 30 seconds on the S drive as hard as you can. You get off the S drive, walk around and recover, and your next interval, you're on the crank cycle, for example, and then you go back and forth. That's one example of many. You can rotate within a Sprint 8 workout, right? You can also do body weight exercises like burpees, right? You could do mountain climbers, battle rope, squat jumps, running in place. So there's a lot of different ways to take advantage of the Sprint 8 protocol. This is an important recording sheet. You will find it on FranConnect. If you really have a client who's starting to do this regularly, you need to start tracking their progress. And the way you do that is tracking either heart rate or workload during each Sprint 8 workout. And this is a recording sheet, right? Look on the left. So peak workload, how hard were they working in watts or mets? That's a measure of the work they are producing. Doesn't matter which one, be consistent and note which piece of equipment they're using. You want to note their peak heart rate. They can use a heart rate monitor. You can look at that and see at the peak, where was it during that interval, right? And then you want to know where is their recovery heart rate right at the end of that 90 seconds, right? And you want to note that for each and every time. That's going to show you and them, are they making progress? And it's going to keep you and them honest, right? I'm working as hard as I can. You did more than this last week. You need to go harder, right? You need a reference to keep making progress. Really important. At the end of the workout, if they have a heart rate monitor, you can wait for 2 minutes while they're in active recovery, and you need to look at what happens to the heart rate. The bigger the drop, the fitter they're getting, right? So if they drop less than 22 beats per minute in 2 minutes from their peak heart rate at the end of the last interval, 2 minutes later, their biological age is slightly older than your calendar age. Go to the other end. Let's say they're super fit. You're going to see greater than a 66 beat per minute drop. Wow, that means you're a lot younger. So this is a very good scale, and this tool, this recording sheet, is going to show you and them and utterly prove that they're making progress, or tell you you need to do something so that they continue to make progress. Very important. It's a way to customize Sprint 8 in as part of a one-on-one workout experience. 2 ways to position Sprint 8 in your club. We either position it as an inexpensive group training option. We recommend pricing this at $5 per class or less. Or you could include it in premium membership to boost the value of the premium membership with a results-based program, right? There's other variations, but these are the 2 main ways to position it. We can do it on MX4 cardio. What is that? Your S drive, your matrix rower, your crank cycle, battle ropes, body weight exercises, right? But we could also do it on motorized cardio, and some of it has, and it can either have the Sprint 8 protocol built in, or we can use that timer, right? That Gym Next Flex timer that we mount on the wall. We can also do it that way. We can do it either way, right? And same thing with the MX4 timer. It can be done using motorized cardio that does not have Sprint 8 built in, using the same MX4 wall-mounted timer. That's the Gym Next Flex timer, which comes with the app that you download, and that's how you control the clock. Positioning Sprint 8 with MX4. If you have MX4 and Sprint 8, you can create a very powerful results-based package that includes, what would it include? Premium membership with all the benefits, tanning, hydro, premium guest privileges, plus monthly success sessions. Very important. That with that half an hour a month meeting to see, is this client on track? If you have Staiku, the scanner, absolutely include the scan and talk about this session. This session has value. Also includes unlimited Sprint 8 classes. Wow. Big deal, right? Really big deal. And also, one other thing, if you have not heard, you're going to hear, unlimited guest privileges are over. They're over as of January, right? So they are no longer a benefit in the premium membership. Currently they are. I'm talking to you in December, early December of 2017. So this results package, which also include unlimited Sprint 8 classes, right, also includes a $74 a month MX4 unlimited package, right? 25 and 74 is 99. So for $99, you get all this very powerful results-based package, right? Very powerful. Had a lot of success selling this. Something you should definitely take a look at. So this is what this results package could look like on a if you're presenting it to someone. Unlimited tanning, unlimited hydro massage, premium guest privileges, right? They're going to change from where they are now, so know that. But unlimited Sprint 8 classes, unlimited MX4 sessions, monthly success sessions, and if you have Staiku, monthly Staiku scans, all for $99 per month. Now, depending on your region, where you are, you may want to consider making this a 6-month commitment, saying it's not month to month. You have to do it for 6 months to get anywhere, right? You don't have to do that, but you can. Sprint launch preparations. What do? You got to make sure all staff complete the Sprint 8 course, and there's a test. Where's the test? Fran Connect. Take it. See if they actually did the course, right? Have all designated instructors practice teaching this class, or they're going to suck at it, right? This doesn't require a lot of technical skill. It requires being a cheerleader and practicing. Order the gym next timer from Matrix if you are not using cardio with Sprint 8 protocol built in or are using MX4 cardio, right? Download and order all Sprint 8 marketing materials. They're on Fran Connect, right? Pop-up banner, order one from members today. It's going to cost you $150, $200, well worth it. Customized rack cards can be ordered from Graphic Edge. Data track setup. Jody at ABC is set to help you. There is a Sprint 8 setup sheet. Yes, you must complete it. Allow 2 weeks for him to get it set up and then to get you trained so you understand how to do this, right? Complete the setup sheet, return. Sprint 8 class pricing. You got to know, what is that? How are you positioning it? You have to figure that out before you can launch this, right? Demo class schedule. Highly recommend you launch with demo classes like MX4. You have to set all this up. Determine staff compensation for teaching. We recommend minimum wage or staff's minimum admin rate. Why? Because, guys, anyone can teach this class, and we're not, if we don't have revenue associated with it, we need to keep our staff costs down. Anyone, your GM can teach it, your fitness director. If selling Sprint 8, finalize the pricing and packages. What exactly are you selling, right? And what are you compensating people? Standard that we've done and we've tested is $49 for 2 months, $49 per month for 2 months. That's 3 classes a week or 12 classes a month. Or if you're doing a single month, it'd be $59, right? Remember, when you launch this, Jody, ABC is going to put 2 complimentary Sprint 8 classes on everyone's membership so they can try it first, right? If including it in the premium membership, all premium members will have unlimited monthly Sprint 8 swept onto their account, if that's your decision. All basic members will have 2 complimentary Sprint 8 sessions swept onto their account, right? Because it's not included in their membership. We want them to try. They may upgrade because they've tried it, right? So what are the preparations? Continue. Data track training. You got to get all this set up, all this figured out, and then you got to get trained before you launch, before you announce it, because no one knows how to schedule anyone. You got to know how to manage that schedule. Yeah, if you're selling it, you have to know how to sell it, right? Both to an incoming new member or an existing member, right? How to schedule members, how to schedule non-members, how to sell Sprint 8 packages, how to complete Sprint 8 class events and data track, noting who showed and who did not show. Review how to upgrade basic to premium member to do Sprint 8, right? Learn how members can schedule classes via My Club Online. Very important. This is all detailed, guys, in the Sprint 8 manual for Sprint 8 and the MX4 manual. All of that stuff is where it's on Fran Connect, including a sheet that you give to members showing them how to do this so they can book their own sessions. Learn how to add and delete classes for the Sprint 8 schedule. You're going to manage it after Jody sets it up. What else? Marketing. You got to order and create your marketing, right? If you're going to order that stuff from Graphic Edge or Members Today, allow 2 to 3 weeks for creation and delivery, right? It's going to be less, so you got to have a plan here. Create pricing sheets. If you're selling Sprint 8, how much is it? You need a price sheet, right? Revise membership pricing sheets to include Sprint 8 with premium membership. If that's what you're doing, it should say you should be explaining that to people as a benefit. Plan to coordinate Sprint 8 social media posts and emails to members and prospects. If you contact Brent from Lee Dolphin, he's got this all queued up. You just have to tell him when and where to send those emails. You don't have to do any work. Launch marketing. What is the launch? Emails, social, banners up in club, rack cards, flyers should all go up and out into the community as well. Staff should be focused on booking members for complimentary Sprint 8 classes, which should be set to begin 1 to 2 weeks after the marketing is launched to give time to create awareness and build excitement while instructors practice. Sprint 8 demo classes should begin 1 to 2 weeks after you launch the marketing. So you launch the marketing, and then everyone's trying to fill those demos up, which start 1 to 2 weeks later, right? If selling Sprint 8 packages, it's important to have pricing sheets created and laminated to present options to members. After the class is launched and initial 2 weeks are up, you must continue to push new members joining the club to try their 2 free Sprint 8 sessions in order to continue to sell more Sprint 8 packages or get basic members to upgrade their membership to premium. This is an example of one of the many social posts. Where will you find them? Well, funny you should ask. You'll find them on Fran Connect. This is an example of a pricing sheet we used in Temecula, California when launching Sprint 8, right? A 2-month and a 1-month option and some bullets to help the person summarize the benefits and why Sprint 8 is something someone should consider. This is a sample of the rack cards, right? This is from Temecula, but they're going to put your address on, right? How do you contact these people? That is all in the Sprint 8 manual. Located where? Is located on Fran Connect. In the manual, you'll see the address, phone number, all the good stuff for Graphic Edge to order rack cards and for Members Today if you want to order the banner. Right? There's an example of a flyer. You can download that where? Fran Connect. It's set to go. You can put it in a plastic holder on your front desk or in other locations throughout your club. Right? This is an example of a price sheet. If you'll look, you'll see Sprint 8 included. Down, if you see my mouth moving here, you'll see Sprint 8 included now. To remind the person presenting membership options to tell them, hey, if you are including it in premium membership, you got to tell people about that, right? And this is what the Sprint 8 pop-up banner, you pull it up, it's got to stand the whole 9 yards. And there's several different options that you can choose from for those banners. So how can this all work together in your club to maximize profit, membership sales, and membership retention? Another tool, you can get this from Epsilon or ask me for the file. This is a picture of a dry erase. It's a big dry erase calendar, right? It's mounted to poster board. It's got a slick surface so you can write things in and then you can erase it and change it. So depending on your club, you may want to be offering Sprint 8 and MX4, and you may also want to be offering introductions to the equipment, and you refer to them, those are free classes for new members. They're half-hour and short. This depicts how a club can have a robust schedule and fitness offering and communicate those benefits with one quick look at this large calendar in your lobby. Right? And if you don't understand this, give me a ring. I'll be glad to discuss this. Reach out to me on email. I gave you my email. I'm going to give it again. greg.maurer, M-A-U-R-E-R, @workoutanytime.com, and let me know. And I'm here to help you.